Coming to you from Hawaii, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, sitting across from me, fighting for the flyweight title at Bellator 294, DeAnna Bennett.
Oh, hey.
Hey, how you doing?
I'm fabulous.
Yeah? Mm-hmm. I love the energy you're bringing. Most fighters are mean, so.
Yeah, I'm not mean. I'm just, nope, I can't say that.
You can say whatever you want in this interview.
I was trying to be PC for a second. I don't know, maybe it's brain damage.
This interview is already 18 plus.
It should be.
I'm just kidding. It's
It
not.
might need to be 19 plus.
Your kids can watch this.
Yeah, can they?
You tell me.
I don't know. There's a little disclaimer.
Well, let's start with a PG question.
Yes.
Why vitamin D?
That's not a PG answer.
Is it really not? All right, well then let's start rated R. Why vitamin D? You weirdo.
I always tell people, like, if my mom's watching, Mom, the answer to that is because of my sunny disposition and happy personality.
That's great.
But yeah, it's not. It's because I was on The Ultimate Fighter, and with my friends, I don't have personal space boundaries, and I'm a big fan of straddling them and giving them lap dances against their will. And I make a lot of dick jokes, and we were at like the Contender series and sitting in the stands, and I was like making this motion at my friend Barb, and she's like, okay, vitamin D. And then she just started calling me that, and she's like, there are children. And I'm like, how do you think they were made? Yeah, so that's, I'm a pervert, and that's why my fight name is Vitamin D.
We're all perverts, and
Yeah.
we'll stick with the sunny side of that.
Yes, sunny disposition.
Plenty of
That's the
sun to soak in Hawaii.
Yes.
April 21st, Bellator 294, Liz Carmouche, take 2. Before we get into that fight, what's your energy like? How you feeling about it?
I've been waiting for this fight for almost 2.5 years. Like, I almost didn't even believe it was happening. Like, I signed the contract, and I'm like, is this really happening? Since the second I got out of the cage with her the last time, I have thought about this fight every single day. I knew it was going to happen. Only a matter of time, and time is now.
Love it, DeAnna. Obviously, I mentioned the fight is in Hawaii. That's why I'm rocking this awesome shirt.
I love it.
Are you excited to get down there and fight there?
I've never been to Hawaii.
Yeah?
So yeah, I was like, this is a perfect time to go to Hawaii. I get to go, I get my title fight that I've been working for my whole career, and it gets to be in Hawaii. And my last fight was in Sioux Falls, and nothing against the people of South Dakota, but y'all's are boring.
Hawaii, South
Yes,
Dakota.
You know, it's oh no, that's terrible. Don't send me to Hawaii after sending me to South Dakota. It's
Did you see a
awful.
buffalo at least?
I did not. I
So,
would have been
yeah.
a lot happier about South Dakota if I did, but unfortunately, I saw the falls, which is like this big. It's like basically turning on a sink. And yeah, there was a dinosaur museum, if you believe those.
I know that story. I saw that story.
I know.
They're real. They were. at
Oh,
least.
they are. Yeah. They were not planted by the devil to test us, contrary to some people's opinions.
That was the opinion there?
That was the opinion there.
Okay, well, folks, dinosaurs were most likely real.
They were real.
I mean,
they did exist.
Have you seen Jurassic Park?
Duh.
Proof's in the pudding. Anyways,
That's the
DeAnna,
one.
going down to Hawaii, Liz Carmouche for the title.
Yes.
You fought her back in 2020. It didn't go your way, unfortunately. What are your thoughts on her as an opponent?
That's my opinion. Yeah. About that. No, she's obviously a tough fighter, and if you watch that first fight, you know, you'll see me getting the better of her. It was back and forth. Unfortunately, my coach at the time showed me the scorecards after the fight and was like, oh, if you made it 2 more minutes, you would have won. And I was like, I don't need to hear that as I'm being crutched over in the hospital, because I got a freak injury in the 3rd round and popped my hamstring, was out for a year with surgery and everything. And I got this wonderful, wonderful scar on my leg that reminds me of it every single day. Do you want to see it?
Yeah, can we see the scar?
It's right here.
Can we see the scar?
Yeah.
Gabby, you got this scar?
It's right here.
Ooh,
you like that?
That's like the worst spot to
Right?
get surgery.
It's fun to show people. I make eye contact and I'm like, you want to see my scar?
That's a dope scar. Did we get that on camera? Cool, we got the
Beautiful.
scar on camera.
Perfect. But yeah, so that's my reminder every day that I think about her, and I want that fight back because I know if my hamstring would have stayed intact that I would have won. It wasn't my night that night. On paper it shows I lost, and so I'm 10 times the fighter I am now, training in Philly. I've worked so hard for this point. I work with great people every single day, and I'm coming to get that W and the belt.
Absolutely, and you know, since the first fight, you're on a 3-fight win streak. I'm going to ask you what changed, but I think a big part of that answer, at least for the two Justine fights, is you came to Philly. Tell me a little bit about that.
I just knew that I needed more with my training. You know, I loved where I was at, but I wasn't getting the push I needed to. There wasn't that intensity in training that I wanted. And so I knew some people that were training here, and they're like, oh, you should give it a try. And I was like, sold. So I started cross training. I was still at my original gym, and then cross training there. And the days that I wouldn't come to Philly, I'm like, man, I really wish I was in Philly, which was amazing to think, because if you've walked around Philly before, you wouldn't be like, I'm not sure if that's a place that you just generally want to go and hang out in. I got lost often, actually, the first little bit coming out here. But I loved it. Every single day I wanted to be here, and I was driving like an hour and a half to get here. And then after that first fight with Justine, where I was cross-training, I was like, no, I need to be there full time. And so I packed up my stuff and I moved out, and I'm here and they're stuck with me. So, and I love it. I love it every single day. I'm not sure if they love it that I'm here, but unfortunately, I'm like human herpes. Like, once you got me, you're stuck with me. I might go away for a little bit, but I always come back.
It's going to be hard to top that metaphor, but I'm sure everybody here is happy to have you. And I know I am as a Philly guy. Great to have you, and it's going to be even better to get a championship brought back home. And we're going to get back into Philly and the gyms in a second, but before we do, Liz Carmouche.
Yes.
What's your prediction for the fight?
I'm not coming just to beat her. Obviously, I want to get my hand raised, and it's by any means necessary. But I'm coming to make a point, and I'm coming for, you know, she wanted to make a point in her last fight, and she got that finish. And I'm telling you right now, I'm doing everything I can to finish that fight. I'm prepared to go 5 rounds. Don't get me wrong. Like, I can go for days. I got the cardio. Yep. So thank you. Like, I can keep pushing it. I can push it for as long as I have to, but I want to make it a quick night and then go and make my team drink too much tequila. Get lost on an island.
Sounds like a great night.
It's going to be wonderful.
Winning that belt, like, you know, just for 1 second, jokes aside.
Yes.
What would that mean for you?
Everything. It's everything that I've worked for my entire career. I never thought I would be a fighter, but as soon as I did, I do it because I love it. Like, I always told myself that I would stop fighting when I didn't love it, but I still love it every single day. Like, even the rough days at practice, there's nowhere else that I would rather be. And like, I set my sights on that belt a long time ago. It was after the first Liz fight. I knew that she was going to win the belt, and I knew that I was going to rematch her for that belt. I've seen it in my mind a million times, and being part of this promotion means everything to me. And being able to bring that belt home is literally everything to me.
And you've been in Philly now for almost 2 years, right?
A year.
A year? Okay.
Yeah.
I almost close enough.
It works.
And before we were rolling, you kind of told me a little bit like why you came here, what brought you here, being Eddie Alvarez, your coach on The Ultimate Fighter.
Yes.
So can you just talk about that for a second?
Yeah. So I was on season 26 of The Ultimate Fighter. Don't go back and watch that if you haven't, because then you're going to see how big of a weirdo I really am.
It's a good thing. You're a good weirdo.
Thank you. I'll take that. We'll say quirky. That's more endearing, right?
Exactly.
Perfect. So yeah, he was my coach, and I just loved the guys that he brought in. He brought in a whole bunch of different people to help coach and stuff, and just seeing their team dynamic and just seeing the way that they trained, I was like, I want to be a part of that. Like, these are the people that I know that if I want to keep fighting and if I want to be competitive, that I have to be in that environment. And I never thought I'd be on the East Coast. Like, I'm from California. I started training in Utah. I made my way out, and I'm like, it's different. There's levels to this fight game, and this area between Philly and Jersey and New York, it's different. And there's a grittiness that comes from being in this area. I think it's because everyone's angry all the time, and
yeah,
so
it's cold.
Trust me, I feel that every day. I'm like, so when I'm done fighting, I'm going somewhere warm. Just so you know, guys. But it's just such a great place, and there's so many good fighters and so much good training, and I don't regret it at all, except for when it's cold and then I'm a baby and I have like 10 layers on, but I still make my way to the gym and I take it out of my training partners. So that's what it is.
I saw the black eye of your training partners.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No names, Taylor Samarco.
Yeah.
But
I'm sorry.
No.
She knows where I sleep.
Just kidding. All fun. Taylor's not going to hurt you in your sleep.
She will.
She might, and I know
She
Taylor.
might.
Taylor Samarco, shout out CFFC. Fight coming up, CFFC 117.
That's the one.
Getting
Definitely go watch her fight.
Getting that W.
She's a beast. Absolutely.
Absolute
She's getting
beast.
that W.
For sure. So, DeAnna, being in Philly, can you kind of just like run me through your training schedule a little bit? Like, what days are you at what gym? Who are your coaches, teammates, stuff like that?
The bulk of my training is over at Marquez MMA, smack dab in the middle of Philly there. I train usually most mornings there. I train like 6 days a week. I say that like I'm not in the gym the 7th day of the week as well, which I am, but I'm supposed to be resting, so let's just pretend resting. I'm just too excited. I love what I do. But yeah, so I'm over at Marquez MMA, here at Team Taino as well. Helps that I live with a couple of people that happen to work and train here as well. So love this gym. If you're in this area, definitely come check it out. I do jiu-jitsu over at Webb's.
Jonathan Webb.
Jonathan Webb. He'll be in my corner for this fight as well. But yeah, I get up. I've been a couple days a week. I've been getting up and working with a wrestling partner, doing wrestling and jiu-jitsu, because what better way to start the day than, get up, roll, choke some people. I haven't officially submitted him yet, but he's on my list. It's win the Bellator belt, it's get my black belt, and it's submit him. I won't name names, but he knows who that is. So take that.
Well, I hope you get that win along with the title.
It's coming first. I'll actually get that before I get the title. So
in the coming weeks of training.
It's coming soon. So we'll see how it goes.
And are you planning to stay in Philadelphia area indefinitely?
I'm here. Like I said, human herpes. I'm not going anywhere. Y'all are stuck with me. I showed up and this is what it is. So hope they're okay with this.
Best looking case of herpes Philly has ever seen, hands down.
Thank you. I would hope so. I used to work in an ER and I've seen some worse case herpes before, but we don't need to get into that.
No, we'll keep them out of this interview. I'll bring up something else gross though.
Oh, please do.
Eagles lost the Super Bowl, Phillies lost the World Series. So this city, myself as a fan, Katie and Gabby, my film crew, we're all hungry for a championship. Are you going to bring us that championship?
I absolutely am. That belt and that championship is coming with me back to Philly. So hopefully I can bring some pride to the city of Philadelphia. Love it here. Love you guys. My friend, he's like one of my best friends, is a diehard Eagles fan, and his heart and soul was crushed. I couldn't even talk to him for a few days because he was just like so down and so sad after the Eagles were not able to win. And so I feel like for him and for the rest of the Philly sports fans, this needs to happen.
And obviously MMA isn't as huge a sport as NFL or
Sure.
MLB, but it's a large crowd in Philly. So are you going to kind of feel that sense of like, I did this for my city?
Yeah, absolutely. I wouldn't be where I'm at right now if it wasn't for my training partners, if it wasn't for everyone around here. You have the greatest fighters in Philly at that gym at Marquez. Sean Brady, Pat, all these people, they're amazing, and be able to train with them, that's what brings me to where I'm at. If it wasn't for them, I wouldn't be where I'm at. So of course, I definitely feel that pride for Philly.
Last Philly question, at least for now.
Yes.
And I ask it to every fighter.
Ooh.
Best Philly cheesesteak.
So I'm actually allergic to gluten and to dairy, and so my Philly cheesesteak is literally just like meat.
Where's the best meat from?
Where's the best meat? That's a loaded question right there. Oh, we're talking cheesesteak.
Cheesesteak meat. Yeah.
Sorry, vitamin D. You forgot who we were talking to.
I remembered who I was talking to. I just didn't remember to clarify.
I don't have a favorite. I know that's terrible. So after this fight, I'm just going to have to go to the different locations and shove my mouth full of lots of delicious meat.
Bring the meat on.
Oh, no, it's terrible.
Sabatini doesn't even like cheesesteaks, so it could be worse.
Yeah, I know. I saw that. He likes sushi, and I'm like, if it was anyone else, I would question. But Pat's the nicest guy in the world, and so he gets a pass on that.
While we're talking about Pat and your teammates, Pat doesn't have a fight officially booked yet, but a few of your teammates do over at Marquez. So real quick, I'm going to ask you about each of their fights.
Ooh, perfect.
We'll start at the top. not weight class to top, just kind of gets the highest profile fight. The ranked guy,
Yes.
Sean Brady, taking on Michel Pereira. My question about this fight is, in Sean's last fight, lost to Bilal. Everyone thought it would be wrestler on wrestler. It was striker versus striker, and Sean lost the striking battle, so to speak. Does Sean win the striking battle against possibly the craziest striker in the entire welterweight division?
Yes. I have 100% full confidence in Sean. He's one of the hardest workers I've ever encountered, and seeing him in the training room and honestly being a part of the team with him, it's an honor, honestly. And seeing him come back after that, you know, it's hard to have your first loss, and especially being so high profile and so many people having opinions on it. But he's the kind of person that is going to take that and put it as a positive and come back and be the best Sean Brady that he possibly can be. So he's going to win everything. Like, he's a champion. He will be the champion. It's only a matter of time. Oh, you lost one fight? Shit happens. He's coming back for it. So it's only a matter of time.
John Jones lost a fight. Sean, you're going to be okay.
Absolutely. 100%.
So Andre Petrosky, Armen Petrosian.
Yes.
Who's going to win? Is Andre going to be able to implement the grappling game? Is Petrosian going to keep it on the feet, pick them apart? Or does it not matter? Andre's going to win wherever it goes.
Andre's going to win, period. Like, come on now. No one, like, Max Savonov was supposedly this, like, high profile, blah, 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 blah. Exactly about that. And look what he did to him. So I'm pretty sure he's going to sleep. Don't get me wrong. I think Petrosian's an amazing fighter. Like, I wish he wasn't fighting my teammate because I think he's cool. But he's going to sleep. Sorry, bro.
Lastly, Joey Pfeiffer, the hottest prospect in Philadelphia, it seems.
Joe Pfeiffer.
B. Joe Pfeiffer.
Always.
Is he going to beat GM3, who has some Philadelphia ties himself?
Of course he is. You know, I see how he trains. Pfeiffer's awesome. Like, he's actually helped me out a lot. He got me with my current management. Like, he's just a good people in general, and I want nothing but the best for him, honestly. And of course he's gonna win. I see the way he works too. Every single one of them. You know, they put their heart and soul into it. And I had this like heart-to-heart conversation with Pfeiffer once, and he's like, I didn't give myself any other options. I gave my option to be a fighter and to win, and that's what I'm gonna do. And I believe him 100%, and he's going to go out there and he's going to win. So I can't wait to see it.
Me neither. Love Joe Pfeiffer.
Perfect. He's good people. I don't know if I could be Joe Pfeiffer, though, because that's a lot of beard, and people get upset when I grow mine out.
It's just a lot of man, honestly.
Yes. Yeah.
I met him. He's a big dude.
He's a big dude. I don't think I could be a big dude.
No, stay at flyweight.
Yeah. Flyweight's good for me. We'll see about after fighting, but we'll see.
Speaking of flyweight.
Yes.
When you get this freaking belt,
Yes.
what's next? Do you have an ideal timeline for when you'd like to defend?
As soon as possible. I'm not one of those people that just like, oh, look at my pretty belt. I want to hold it for as long as possible. Yeah, I'm going to hold it for as long as possible, but I'm going to bring in the contenders and I'm going to clear out the division while I do it. Because, like I said, I love fighting. I love it. I don't want to be one of those people that's just like, oh, I'm a fighter, and then they're just in it for the looks of it. Like, they're off not training. They're all doing other things. Like, I want to be a fighter. I want to be in the gym. This is everything to me. And so as soon as possible, 2 months later, 3 months later, just give me a little time, because I'm pretty sure the tequila in Hawaii is going to go down significantly while I'm there. And then, yeah, maybe a week celebrate. I can't be there too long because I'm playing in a hockey tournament after my fight, literally the week afterwards, because I'm a psychopath. So there you go.
I mean, Miranda Maverick, Juliana Pena, Justine Kish times 2. You've beaten a lot of big names in MMA.
Yes.
Is there anybody, Jennifer Maia, the other big name, is there any other fighters, names, Bellator opponents you want to fight still in your career? Like, who do you envision yourself defending that belt against?
I would love to fight all of them, honestly. There's a lot of good names in the division. Like, I've been wanting to fight the best of the best in Bellator and everywhere from the beginning. Like, I've never turned down a fight. Like, I want to fight I want to fight them all. I love to test myself. You know, the fights that excite me are the fights that are the toughest, where somebody's like, oh man, are you sure you want that? And I'm like, well, by your reaction, I want it even more now. I wanted it before, but now I really want it. And so I think a fun fight would be Kana Watanabe, and I would love for it to be in Japan. I have a bucket list for fighting. So one of them is I will fight in Japan before I retire, and I think that would be the perfect one. Like, I would have the belt, obviously, but I would be willing to go into enemy territory and fight in Japan for that. That would be the most ideal thing.
Would you rather that or have your first title defense be back home in Philadelphia for Bellator Philly?
Ooh, Bellator Philly does sound really good.
It'd be awesome.
It would be awesome. I would love that. I would love that. Yeah, come on, Bellator. We need something in Philly. Like, in Philly. Not just, I mean, Jersey's nice. It'd be good to have something in Jersey, but Philly. Philly's where it's at. So.
I'm throwing some partial shade at the UFC because you're coming to Jersey for 288 and not Philly, but
that's
whatever.
That was my comment too. I was like,
good enough.
About that. All right, I guess Newark's close, but I mean, it's definitely not cool enough. Give me your shirt.
You know, so Bellator champion now, get a couple title defenses, whatever it be, looking into the future. Any interest in ever going to UFC, PFL 1, or are you happy with Bellator?
I've actually been really happy with Bellator. I mean, we'll see what happens in the future. Like I said, I want to fight the best of the best. I want to push myself. Like, if I find that I still have fights in Bellator that excite me, that I'm looking forward to, then yeah. Everybody there's been great. The promotion's been amazing and treated me so well. But yeah, we'll see what the future holds. So we'll play it by ear from there.
Never say never.
Never say never. Exactly. So, you know, like I said, I'm just here for all the fun. So
and
do it again.
Bellator champion and title contender is pretty awesome anyways.
See, I'm excited for that. Definitely. It's going to be great. And
you mentioned you started training when you were back in Utah.
Yes.
What got you into MMA? Like, was it a specific fighter or anything specific?
So it's a series of peer pressures. Yes, I succumb very easy to peer pressure, so I shouldn't put that out into the world because then I feel like
all the cool kids are doing it.
I know, so I guess I have to. Dang it. Well, I wrestled in high school, and it was fun, but I broke my ankle my senior year, so I wasn't able. It was like 3 days before the girls' state championship, so I'm like, I had this unfinished business. Well, flash forward, I'm in college in Utah. I had to take a PE class, so I took kickboxing because why not? I love punching people. It's great. Why not? It's much more fun than like aerobics, and I'm not as flexible, so it's probably better that I punch the people. So I did that. It was really fun, and I was like, cool, I can do this for staying in shape. So I joined a kickboxing gym because I'm like, I hate lifting weights. I hate doing that kind of stuff. Let's join a kickboxing gym. And yeah, don't worry, that one came back to bite me because now I have to do all the things. I'm like, about that. So I joined it. It was fun. My friend's like, hey, we're doing smoker fights. You're going to fight. And I was like, no, that doesn't sound fun. I don't want to do that. And they're like, too bad, we signed you up. And so naturally I prepared for it and showed up on that day. And I was like, oh, this is kind of fun. So I did a bunch of kickboxing fights, and then I started jiu-jitsu because in the back corner there's this tiny little room and they were doing like grappling, and I'm like, oh, that looks like wrestling. I don't know what's going on back there. And they're like, oh, that's the jiu-jitsu class. And so I'm like, okay. I felt that unfinished business, and so I started doing jiu-jitsu. And I had my last kickboxing fight. I got done, and they're like, cool, you won. In a month, you're doing an MMA fight. And I was like, no, I'm not. And they're like, we signed you up. And so naturally I prepared for it. And I got into the cage, and they locked the door behind me, and I go, ha! Okay, this girl's looking at me. She's looking real mean about that. And then the buzzer went off, and I was like, all right, yep, nope, I love it here. I got I think it was a second round TKO, and I was like, yeah, this is where I belong. Peer pressure worked out finally. And so, but unfortunately now I do have to lift the weights and do all that stuff. And so my plan backfired, but I found my calling in life. And so here I am. And it's funny because my dad knew that I would be a fighter. He knew it because he was a San Jose cop. Strike Force was in San Jose. He would always do the standbys and watch, and he'd come home and he'd be like, you should do fighting. Like, you did wrestling. Those girls are doing wrestling. You would be good. And I'm like, no, thank you. I don't want to do that. Being punched in the face sounds terrible. And he's like, sure. And then literally a year later, I was like, Dad, I'm having my first fight. And he went, I told you so. And I'm like, dang it. I hoped you forgot about that. And like, he always knew I would do it. And he was smarter than me. So.
Apparently so.
Yeah.
And I'm glad you brought up going, eek, and then shutting the cage and then going into kill mode because
yes.
A couple of your teammates I've talked to, being Taylor and Pat,
oh no,
they have brought up your kill switch.
Oh no.
And they're like, during sparring, during fights, they're like, she gets hit a few times and then like her eyes go black and it's over. Can you speak on that at all? Do you have any control over that?
No, I don't. This is DeAnna right here. That's a very good question. I think I'm nice.
You're very nice.
Well, thank you. I think I'm just awkward mostly. I don't know. I love fighting, and when I'm like, all right, challenge accepted. Guess we're going. So I guess I have a kill switch. I think it's right here. You punch this right here, and that means go. And then I guess we go into kill mode. I'll remember that, Taylor.
They meant it in good heart.
Okay. I'll still remember that, Taylor.
And do you live with Taylor?
I do.
Who do you live with here?
I live with Taylor, Samarco, and then Cam Scalio.
I didn't know you three lived together.
Yeah, we do. We just recently. It was like last month we moved in, and so it's nice to have people around with like the same mindset, working towards a goal, working towards fighting. And so poor Cam, he moved in with two girls that are both in fight camp right now, and so I was like, sorry, buddy, about that. It's gonna be real rough for you for the next little bit, but he's fine. He'll survive.
That's a good crew
Maybe.
right there. I'm coming over for movie night sometime.
As you should. You're invited. We watched the fights a couple weeks ago. We'll have some more over there. And so we have a dog and a cat. It's great. I would have brought my cat for the interview, but she was being a little psycho today. But yeah, it's fun to watch them. That's the real entertainment at the house.
You've been fighting since 2011.
Yes.
What's like, if you can, the biggest change that you've noticed in the sport, whether that's like a style of fighting or media-wise, whatever it be? What's the biggest change you've noticed?
Well, when I started fighting, females weren't even in the UFC.
Valid point.
It was still that point where they were like, females will never be in the UFC. And I was like, yeah, give it some time. It'll happen eventually, whatever. There's so much, it's a lot more mainstream. Like when I first started, my friends were like, what? Is it like death matches in the cage? And I was like, yes, death matches. It's Thunderdome. Like, 2 men enter, 1 man leaves, and I'm the one that left. So my body count is huge as far as people I've killed. Let me clarify that real fast.
1 hand or 2 hands?
1 hand.
No, meaning like, can you fit the number of people you killed on 1 hand or 2 hands?
Oh.
Uh-oh. Liz Carmouche can be part of that list?
Yeah, of course, she will be part of that list. I think that's one of the biggest things is just, it's a lot more mainstream, and so there's a lot more media, like, it was the weirdest thing because like ESPN covers fights and everything now because the UFC's on there, and I like had a whoo moment because I get the dings with the ESPN notifications for MMA, and one popped up on my phone and I was like, wonder what that is, and I was like, oh, it's me. This is amazing.
You got the Bleacher Report.
I screenshotted that because I was like, ESPN notification. Liz Carmouche takes on DeAnna Bennett, and I was like, oh, about that. That is the coolest thing ever. So, yeah, I think that's probably the biggest thing that changed. So, yeah.
So something that's been very apparent and vibrant during this interview is your energy, your personality. It's amazing. It's
well, thank you.
Vitamin D, even though we know the origins now, it really can mean sunshine and vibrant because you are.
Play it off. Thank you.
In a sport that's full of so much violence, blood, sweat, tears, the whole 9. How do you keep this like happy energy, and does it help you at all?
I love what I do, and I mean, it's true. Oh gosh, so I get so incredibly happy. So I had one of my fights, I think it was the first Justine fight. It was at the Mohegan Sun in Connecticut. And fight week, I'm just happy. Like, I was cutting weight, and most guys, when they're cutting weight, they're just like, no one talk to me, angry, terrible, awful. Well, we first get there and we're checking in, and we have to do a COVID test. And so all the fighters are lined up. It's like first thing in the morning. I think it was like 7 a.m. And so I'm also a morning person, and I'm just happy because it's fight week. I'm like, everything's going great. And I'm just like, oh, hello. And then I saw somebody I knew, and I just started talking, and I was like, and blah, 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 and blah, 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 and blah, blah, blah. And my cornerman texted me like, DeAnna, shut up. There was a line of starving fighters cutting weight, and they all want to kill you. And I was like, oh, I'm sorry. I'm glad I have my cornerman to keep me in check, because I was just like, I just get happy when I'm cutting weight, and it is that's who I am. And yeah, not all everybody can take it. I have a hard time with when the commission is there and like I'm getting my hands wrapped, whether it's like the cut man or anything. Like, I have to suppress all urge to make fisting jokes. And when I say I have to submit, I have to calm myself down, it always happens. I always make a fisting joke, and so then I can see who on the commission has a personality and who is just like, excuse me. And I'm like, ooh, about that. So yeah, that'll happen this time. So we'll see how they are in Hawaii. That, and then because we always have to do the pregnancy test, and so like peeing on a stick, and that always gets weird too. Just leave that.
Female fighters have to do pregnancy tests?
We do. Yeah, before every fight. And every commission is different. Some of them will give you the stick and you can go in the bathroom. Some of them are like, we have to watch you. And I was like, ooh, you love your job a little too much, don't you? You're one of those people. About that. Full eye contact while I pee on it.
How do you even pee? My stage fright would be just...
I make full eye contact with them. They want
you weird. Make the eye contact?
I do. Yeah.
You got cojones, girl.
Well, thank you. Yeah, I have to tape them down when I train, so it is what it is.
Opposite end of this happy spectrum.
Yes.
Because you've been on 8 fight win streaks.
Yes.
Well, you've also been on 3 fight lose streaks. You've experienced loss in life, everyday people things. You've had rough days at training camp. You know, you're a human being. So when life comes at you, how do you like keep motivated and inspired to still compete at a championship level?
Honestly, it's rough. I've had a lot of rough moments. Anyone that knows me, like, sometimes things get pretty terrible. So I've had my moments, and it's just knowing what I want. You know, I know what I want out of life. I know what goals that I've set, and I've made this path for myself. And like, I think that was the biggest thing that I realized when my dad passed, because like was like the biggest life-changing moment for me, because he was my best friend. He was like #1 fan and like my everything. Like, he was my person. And so losing him, I realized that, you know, you have to live the life that you love, and you have to do the things that you enjoy. I was working at a security company, guaranteed 6 figures. They wanted to promote me even further. And I quit that job so I can go on The Ultimate Fighter. And it was a fun experience, but let's be honest, the pay isn't the best for that. And I have people that like, are you an idiot? And I was like, maybe, but I live the life I love. Y'all are miserable doing everything, and I actually get to do this. And so anytime there's like those rough days, I have to think about that, because it's like, what have I gone through to get to this point, and how close I am to everything that I've always worked for in this sport. And I'm this close, and like, I have a lot of different options of things that I can do, and obviously I'm not going to be able to fight forever, so why not be able to do the things that I love while I still can, and live the life that I want and that I've built for myself. And so that's like the days that are hard. I just have to like bring myself back, go pet an animal, because, you know, pet a dog, pet a cat makes everything better. Unless they're like, no, mountain cats, don't pet those. I highly say don't do that. So National Park Service will also frown upon that. But it's just, you know, you have to think that you have those moments, but things will get better. You'll find a way to get through them. That's where I'm at. Like, and it gets hard sometimes, but there's always a way to get through them. You just have to keep going, and you'll get there. And if not, you have to rely on friends or people that you have around you, maybe a little boost as far as that goes. But yeah, thankfully I have wonderful people, like my translator who's sitting in the corner.
She's not a translator.
She is my translator.
Okay, she's a
Yeah,
translator.
see? Woo, woo, woo.
What did she say?
She said that she's getting hungry. She needs to eat her dinner now.
You're getting hungry.
Little
Well,
bit.
luckily for you,
Yeah.
we're on pretty much my last question.
Well, perfect. This is good timing.
And you get to talk about yourself because I'm wondering, when you're
Yes.
not DeAnna Bennett, the fighter,
Oh.
you're DeAnna Bennett, the person. So tell me what that looks like. What are your like hobbies and interests outside of the cage?
I'm a weirdo. I like a lot of different things. Like, I played hockey my whole life. That's like my number one. I shouldn't say it, but I'm always like, hockey's my favorite sport. Fighting's right afterwards. And they're like, you realize you do that for a living, right? And I was like, no, but I love hockey. I've been doing it since I was a kid. And so anytime I get to play, get the skates on, go to a game, been to a couple of Flyers games this year, was pretty cool. I love that. I paint. That's what I do when I'm like stressed or have time. I just did a painting myself not too long ago. I read a lot. I harass my friends and family and roommates and just to be a general weirdo. Hang out with my cat. I had a dog. He passed away. I miss him. I'll get him. I'll have another dog soon. Not ready for another dog yet. So I got a cat. She's 7 pounds of pure terror. I'm just kidding. She's sweet to me. Except for when it's 5 a.m. and she wants food. And my translator can attest to this. We took her to Connecticut to watch Liz's fight, and we were trying to sleep, and she was just like jumping back and forth across our faces, just like woof, 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 woof. I was like, sorry, it's my child about that. But yeah, museums, travel, all the things. I don't know.
Well,
I don't know. What
for
do I
your,
do?
what about me?
No, I said, what do I do besides throw things on the ground?
Drop the mics on the ground.
Well,
you can
yeah,
keep it there. It's okay.
Take that, Mike.
It's okay. Well, hey, for the Bachelor interview,
Oh, yes.
she's the whole package, fellas. Team Taino MMA.
Thank
Come
you.
on down. She'll put you to sleep.
There you go. Taking applicants.
So, DeAnna, last thing here, then you can go get your hangry situation figured out.
Like that.
You have
That
a lot of
can be
fans, a
Yes.
lot of friends, a lot of teammates, a lot of everybody, a lot of eyes on this fight, big Bellator card.
Yes.
Is there anything you'd like to say to everyone we haven't covered yet?
April 21st, Bellator 294. It's going to be a great night of fights. You know, Bellator, they always stack their cards when they do Hawaii, and the main event, which I happen to be a part of, I'm coming and bringing everything I can, and I know Liz is as well, so it's going to be a great fight. We're gonna come throw down, so please check it out. You won't be disappointed.
We better not be disappointed because I'm
won't
sneaking
be.
into your suitcase and I'm coming to the fight, DeAnna.
Perfect. I hope you do. Don't give me those double guns. Holster those.
Keep
Sir.
the guns holstered, but
Holstered.
real quick, pulling them out because, ladies and gentlemen, DeAnna Bennett,
That's the
Bellator 294, April 21st. Don't miss it. That strap is coming home to Philadelphia. DeAnna,
It is.
you rock. Thank you so much.
You rock. I really appreciate it. I controlled myself on this. Just so you know, I did my best.